All right, so today we're going to put together a Smith & Wesson 28-2. So the first thing I do is install the locking bolt. I'm not going to take that back out because I don't want to take a chance of scratching the Cerakote. But this is what it looks like right here. It's a little detent with a notch kit in it. It's going to be facing up towards the barrel. It's got a spring on this side. You depress it this way until it lines up, that cutout lines up with this hole, and then you drive the roll pin in. It's really small. Use about a 1/16 punch, but definitely use a starter punch to get it going. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is install our bolt plunger. This has a little spring on it right here and a detent. That's what it looks like. Just put it in that little hole right there. Like so. Put it in here, depressing that, lining it up, and it'll hold it in. Now, you can press this out. So the first thing you want to do after you get that in is put your cylinder release on like that, and get this little nut started. I always hold it whenever I'm doing this to make sure it doesn't slip out and launch that spring into oblivion. So the next thing we're going to do is install our cylinder stop and cylinder stop spring. This is really tricky, and I've already done it, and there's a pretty good chance I wouldn't be able to show you anyway. But if you can see this little spring right here, you just basically depress that while you're trying to bend that down and get it on that rod right there. All at the same time. Once it clicks into place here, that spring should be in that position right there. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is install the trigger, the hand, and the rebound slide. Now before you put the trigger in, you got to make sure that the hand has retention on it. You can see this little tiny spring in here. See that long leg? That long leg's got to be on the short leg of your hand so that it can rebound. This is what puts tension on your cylinder and makes it turn. And then the short leg is going to be on this little pin that's in your trigger. This little arm right here is going to go on your rebound slide right in that detent, just like that. This spring is going to rest on this post right here. And this channel right here is going to go right on that post, just like that. The spring is under a lot of tension. I'm going to show you how this all goes in. So it's going to go in, you'll pull this hand back, getting your trigger post set up. This will slide in just like that. Just like that. Now with this under tension, it's going to push it forward, and that little post right there from the trigger is going to go right inside that little recessed hole, and it should look just like that when the spring is in here. They make a tool for this that you can use to make your life a lot easier, but if you're careful, you won't need it. So when you get this all in, this is how it should look. You have your hand. It's spring loaded. It fits right down in that channel, just like that. I'm going to be real careful getting all this in, but that's the alignment. The little trigger notch goes in that little front part, just like that. Okay. Next step, we're going to install the hammer. It's pretty simple. Hammer just goes in just like so. But it's not going to go in until we pull our cylinder stop out like that. Should fit in just like that. But you need to make sure this little notch right here goes in this little notch right here. So what you'll do is when you're putting your hammer in, pull that little cylinder release back and pull your trigger just a little bit to get that to line up just like that. See how that trigger grabbed the bottom of that hammer? That's what we're looking for. Okay, so next we're going to install the mainspring. It's going to go in this little channel just like that on the bottom. Curve this direction with the grip. See how it's got a notch in it? That little notch goes around this little leg that's off the hammer, like so, and grabs it just like that. Then I always start my screw a little bit, a mainspring screw, just a little bit, just to give it a little tension. I mean, it's barely started, but it just gives it a little tension so that it'll kind of hold it in position while I grab my screwdriver. I'm going to pull the hammer back just a little, or the mainspring back just a little bit while I tighten this screw. Okay, this is how it should look. Just like that. So the next step is we're going to install our hammer block. This is pretty simple. This is just going to go right there. Just like that. Just sits right there. Now I'll put it in line with that. I'll put it in line with this right here, this little gap. Because if you look at your plate, it's got a channel in it. This channel is what that rides in. And if you don't have that in this channel, this won't seat properly. You're gonna have issues. If you look closely, there's a little tab right here, the front of this plate. That's what's gonna kind of go in first. A little wiggle, make sure that you're in line with that hammer block. Just like that. Like so. Like that. Okay. Now, I don't know if y'all know how to put this together or not. This is separate. This will have 2 springs in it. This is reverse threaded. you'll have one little spring, a smaller spring that'll go inside here, and that's for this little guy right here. And you'll have a bigger spring that'll slide over this shaft right here, and then you thread this on. That's for this. This slides in here like so. Make sure this is seated all the way. Go ahead and lock it. You're going to have 3 plate screws. 2 are the same, 1 short. The short one goes back here. Speed always up. All right, take note. This front screw is what locks this into the frame so that it won't slide back out once I take it off. But now you should have a fully functioning revolver. Okay. Now all you have to do is install your grips. A little hole goes right there on the little roll pin. And that's it. That's all she wrote. Hey, thanks for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe. If you have any other gunsmith questions, feel free to hit us up. All of our contact info is at cgccerakote.com. Y'all have a good day.